super happy for that.
Oh, they did. They got it. That running? We did take a lot of weight out of it. Oh my God. You're kind of frightening. I wasn't really
God, you got your uniform on.
Yeah, I just came from a funeral.
Not yours.
Normal.
Not yours.
No, not mine.
My mother always said I was going to be late for my own funeral. I'm trying to prove her right.
Sure, no big deal. We got another one Friday. Ordered this year, that's like, of course, she was World War II, 94 years old.
Wow. Won't be another generation like that for a long time.
You know, if you go into the hardware store, you see Greg Markle, that's his son. Greg works at Landers.
So for this year, this one next week, the price already been started. And,
I thought your pictures were
John, you look very nice.
Thank you.
Was there a good turnout?
Oh, hey, honey, what are you doing?
So you just walk by him? I'll take my hug to my girl.
Hey, I was gonna say, did you see him this morning?
You go to the station too. Maybe I just didn't tell you. That's probably I'm sure I got, yeah, he's probably all the way over to the station. You pull in the station, stupid. He probably over there, I'm like, you supposed to, he's home right now. So you supposed to township meeting, goes, yeah, I'm doing well. Oh. Yeah, he'll probably have to do one thing that's got. It's not. You want yours too?
Yeah.
Earlier.
Twice today and I didn't get it.
I was working the first time. So you were working the second time. Run in there and pretend like I was doing something. Absolutely outstanding. If there's any better, if it was any better, then you'd have issues.
I'm a goofball and I didn't read it.
You probably read it this time.
There was a lot of times that I got all the attachments. Is that one of the attachments? Cause I was excited, cause I'm like, oh, that's how much it is.
So you looked at the attachments?
I did.
You didn't read the email?
Trying to read the green.
I wouldn't really expect it. I totally threw him off with my bad. He should have been, he was honestly here.
Are you ready?
My family, okay, so I'm here to talk about this.
Probably, just have to work. It's not gonna go to home.
That's right.
Show and tell it.
Hey. How you doing, sir?
Good, you?
Wonderful.
So who's the other young man in the same area?
I don't know. Because I'm one of 7. Yeah, we're all strapped up.
He was there holding her hand, little old lady hand. He's holding her hand and he told me. You take her, that's right. I can't take his name.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You what?
Your like devotion thing this morning, more fully.
I wasn't home. I left at 4:00 this morning. I haven't been home yet.
Oh, you didn't go back home from the fires?
I haven't been home yet. I went from the fire to go fill up oxygen tanks to Bangor. I tried to grab breakfast. There was a QR code. Then I had to book it over. Well, actually, I lied. I did it go home for 10 minutes, take a quick shower to get some. Because I wasn't gonna walk in looking like a head over there. Got over there. Then they sent me to the wrong place a couple of times in the building. Finally got there, like, oh, and we're done. I'm like, Corey's like, yeah, we're right here. 2 feet from the yeah, right. And then I came back. He gave Derek the reports from what he asked me to ask them. Went to McDonald's to get see if I could get my breakfast. Now, that kind of left my account, yes. Can I have my breakfast, please? Absolutely, ma'am. And then I went to work. And I left work early so I could go to the tab building and check in with the church people. And I went from there back to the fire station to put the truck back in. Behind? Oh, did you see it? I can yeah, okay. Are we gonna set up that? Yes. What do I do? I'm gonna get a diagnostician. I'm gonna tell him Why isn't it just a?
You gathered a crowd here afterwards.
I know, I'm always thinking.
Gather.
I know it's Harry. Started at 7, started at 7. That's it.
I just need to put everything on the floor.
He's making me feel bad with how stuff he looks. I just want you to know. You're picking up your nose, you know that?
No.
He didn't even hear me. I was a little red. No wonder for a second. Character.
Oh, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I know, but I was on the phone, but I felt like I was rude.
Well, you were. I was leaning against.
I know. And I heard it.
I didn't even know if he got a nice card on me. Church card telling me, okay, you're going to church. Churches. God bless you.
It's like crosses out the churches, right? He's like, dual purpose. He's a dual purpose.
I was actually talking about. Quiet.
Double sided. The star lights
The
on.
trick was pull a little bit.
Yeah. It's like holographic. That's awkward.
Well, I know, but you get the best JC. You should be there for JC, not for JC.
No, it's weird that they want to understand.
Did you not know that that's my
Mr.
name?
Roberts.
I know, so was that how many years now?
Your phone is, your name is still my phone is Mr. Roberts. It's terrible.
I have a.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Thanks a lot.
I mean, he's aged you, so
Oh, yeah, I didn't print all that.
No, actually, I'm putting that budget through this week, and I'm just gonna use the numbers you gave here. I figured if I got the only model, maybe throw in the back closet, you don't use it.
Yeah, if I only had.
Any of them knows, right? No, I've seen these used, what is that, good stuff.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
Are you gonna get one for the tech center?
I'm sure, yeah, it's already in the budget. You didn't give me half of what I wanted last year.
Oh, jam. Only if they give you half of what you want this year, that's in the half you want.
Why not say this first?
Oh.
Because.
Wow.
Hey, sweet cheeks, how are you? What do you want? I can, what are we doing? What are you saying? Your boy's pretty tired. You working his tail off today. You're doing a good job. We won't tell him because then I have to listen to him. Don't want to do it. You don't know if it's coming or going though. So go take a nap and sit around and walk into the truck. That's the one way, just so you know.
Might be time to take a break.
I'm hungry.
What's the ear?
That's your spot. That's your spot. Don't mess with her.
It's not like I'm here all the time.
She's trying. I'm telling you.
No, I'm just here to get yelled at.
That's probably why you left me and tell me you were
I know I'm gonna get yelled at. It's just a report I'm gonna have to get. It's already.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
John?
Here.
Here. Karen? Here. Who's running late? Guest speakers, we have Commissioner Emily.
Need a mic?
I can project it, that's all right. Is that okay? Good evening, everyone. I'm Emily Hickmott. I'm from the Van Buren Conservation District, and I just wanted to come and introduce myself because I was newly hired last May. The first time we've had a full-time person in the recycling program position. So we're excited about expanding the program and helping residents know what we already have going on. As you may know, the millage was passed in Van Buren County in 2016 to help fund the Conservation District's projects, and a large part of those funds are going into the recycling program. That was one of the things that, when we put out a survey at that time, the residents were most interested in seeing done. So we are using it for other things too, and I have a few little sheets about that. We have some textile inserts available, so we can talk a little bit about that if you have questions. Otherwise, our website has been updated recently and has a lot of information there. So I'll quickly go through the 5 groups that we're focusing on with the recycling program, let you know some things that we have going on and are starting up. And feel free to ask some questions at the end if you have any. So the first group we'll be focusing on is the one we've always focused on, and that would be residents. It's our largest group, obviously, and so with that, we will continue our household hazardous waste collections. We do 2 a year, one in Pawpaw in June, and one in South Haven in September. Those are open to all Van Buren County residents. Because of the millage, they're now free. So if you'd ever participated in the past, we had to weigh everything that you brought, charge you according to how much it weighed. It took a lot more time, so since it's been free, we've seen increased participation, which is great. We get you in and out a lot faster. So I encourage you to put those dates on your calendar. I have quarter sheets, little white sheets in the back that you can pick up and take home for those. In addition, we do 4 tire collections, passenger tire collections a year. Those dates are on that sheet as well. So we'll be doing one with our June hazardous waste and one with our September hazardous waste. And then we have another one for just tires in May, and that'll be in Almena. And then another that is just tires in August, and that's in Arlington. So we try to move those 2 that are just tires around the county to try to get closer to different people each year. And those are also available to all county residents. So 10 passenger tires, go ahead and give me a call to RSVP, make sure there's room in the truck, and that's free as well. We also do electronic recycling in Pawpaw, so that's free other than computer monitors and TVs. That would be $10 and $20 respectively, just because they have more hazardous materials that are expensive to process. We're looking to get another electronic recycling set up in South Haven, so that'd be a lot closer to you all. We're hoping to get that done the first half of this year, so I'll be letting you know about that, and it'll be on our website as well. In addition, for a second group that we're working with would be schools. So I've already been into a couple schools. I go in and do a free waste audit. I basically sort through trash all day, and I don't really tell the kids what I'm doing, just that I'm studying trash. The next day I get to go in and give an assembly and show them how much they created in one day, and then we talk about how much trash that would be over a full school year or over 4 years of high school. And we talk about ways that they can reduce waste and not waste so much food, as that's something that's done a lot in schools just because there aren't great avenues to save and reuse things. So we're able to do that for schools, and then we have money to help provide them with grant money for projects that they might want to do in that area as well. We're also going to be working with businesses, so we want to develop a sort of green business program where I could go in, do a waste audit, look at different methods that a business has, and help them find ways that they could save money by having reusable things, and also divert some of their waste from landfills to try to keep those from filling up so fast so we don't have one built here in Van Buren. The 4th group that we'll be working with would be our municipalities, so things you want to do with your transfer station to expand those, get native plants surrounding them, have various collections. Columbia was awesome and hosted a tire collection for us last year, and it actually ended up being our largest tire collection in the county last year, with 1,044 tires collected. Yes, so it was very full. That was awesome, and we hope to work with you guys again in the future with that. Additionally, we had, for the hazardous waste last year, between the two collections, there were 10 residents that participated, which doesn't sound like a lot from Columbia, but it's really important that we're getting rid of our paint and our batteries and light bulbs in a safe way to protect our water and our land. And so I have some ideas on how we can help get those numbers up, and hopefully the next time I come talk to you guys, we've had maybe even 4 times as many people participate in those. Like I said, they are free, so they're a pretty easy thing to do on a Saturday if you've got the time. And then finally, the 5th group is our agricultural community. So one of the things that we heard is most wanted is to recycle pesticide containers. We go through a lot of those in Van Buren because we have so much fruit, which is awesome. But we're just really looking at this point to find a location that we could set a large trailer that would then be filled with jugs that farmers could come and drop those off. Someone would have to be at the location to kind of unlock it, or at least observe and make sure people aren't just throwing trash in there. But for the most part, it's pretty simple. The district pays for the trailer. We pay to have it lined so that if there was any leakage, it wouldn't be an issue. And we would help coordinate the milk runs to pick up the jugs too. So those are some of our initial projects that we have going and are working on. I also brought recycle drives that are in the back as well, so feel free to pick those up. It's got information about how to get rid of things like batteries and light bulbs, styrofoam throughout the year too, and at our collections. And our website is up to date, and that is on the back of the recycle guide. So that's got a lot of information. I just threw a lot at you. Feel free to ask me questions or find me after.
And you work at a Pawpaw?
Yes, yep, our office is in Pawpaw. Yep, but we reached out to the whole county, yes.
Emily, do you have any plans of doing a household hazardous waste maybe around the Bangor area?
I'm not sure. We have traditionally just stuck to the South Haven and Pawpaw because they tend to draw people from all over, but they do draw the most people from the city that they're in. So that's definitely something for us to consider if we needed to. It's just such a big event, I suppose. Yeah, that we tend to try to stick to our same location each year, but that's definitely something I can take back and talk to my boss about. Yeah, thanks, boss. Ms. Pam Stafford.
Good evening. My name is Pam Bodke Stafford.
Nope. Oh, sorry.
This is mainly for you folks.
Okay.
So, 50 years ago this coming June, my parents, Ron and Phyllis Bodke, purchased their first blueberry farm and moved to Grand Junction, along with their 4 children, my siblings, Tom, myself, and Larry and Kay. Ron and Phyllis were very involved in the blueberry industry and other farming organizations up until my dad's death in May of 2016. After his passing, my mom was approached with the idea of erecting a pavilion at the Columbia Township Hall in memory of my dad. With many other things happening at that time and the fact that it was too soon after his passing, the idea was put on the back burner. But now, with the 50th anniversary of the farm approaching, the idea was brought back up among the family as a way to honor our dad and give back to the community that he loved. It is our desire to help build this as a family project, and so now we are exploring the idea with you, the Columbia Township Board. Our family would pay for the construction of the pavilion and a concrete pad with a current budget of approximately $13,000. We have been in contact with the builder for possible designs for the project. The logical location for the pavilion seems to us to be behind the Township Hall near the ball field, which is an established gathering place for people in the community, but we are open to other possible locations. A few questions for the Township Board would be, is this a project that you would like our family to pursue? Would you be willing to provide picnic tables and possibly charcoal grills to aid in the use of the pavilion? Another consideration would be the maintenance and upkeep of the pavilion, and if there would be any added insurance costs with this additional building on the township property. So I would be happy to try and answer any questions that you might have for me right now. If I'm not able to answer them, I will get the answers and get back to you at your next board meeting.
Do you have any questions?
When we spoke just a little bit over the phone, we talked a little bit about timetable also.
Yes.
And was it September that gets super busy for you? It seems like
The springtime.
from May to June.
Springtime is
all
when
May
it gets
to
busy. We talked about maybe the
maybe
fall, maybe October. And then if it was erected in October, you know, maybe the purchase and installation of picnic tables or such could wait until the spring.
John, do you have any questions?
Well, I think, as far as I'm concerned, the Vodkey name is paramount in this area, and the good that they've done is absolutely fantastic, and I think to put a pavilion back there would be to the betterment of the community, and an honor to the Vodkey name, and I'm all for it.
I think it's a great idea, it's a nice thing to offer to do. Very nice.
Yeah, we've got, we're working on our budget right now, so we'll see what kind of budgetary we have to do the picnic tables and the grilling. And maybe by the end of the month, we'll have some more of a definite for you on that as well.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have a little bit more of a design area.
Right.
And show us where you want it.
Right.
And we can make that decision.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you for your generous offer.
Yes, thank you
And
very
memory
much.
of your dad.
Is there anyone that you would like me to be in contact with, like a point person, like Karen, since I've spoken with her already, or?
Either one of us is fine.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to continue to work here, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
We also have a petition. Hi, I'm Tricia Nesbitt, for those of you who don't know me. I recently became our county treasurer following Karen McKay's retirement. She served as county treasurer for 22 years, so she's leaving some very big shoes for me to fill. And so this month, we're still working on dog licenses, very exciting. You have until March 1st to license your dogs, so our office is still selling those for those of you who are in need of them. But even more importantly, we are working with taxpayers who are behind on their taxes. So unfortunately, those who have delinquent 2016 taxes are facing foreclosure, and those who have delinquent 2017 are facing forfeiture. So we are working with taxpayers all across the county to make sure that they're on payment plans and that we can work with them to get them current on their taxes. So this evening I shared with Karen the list of folks in Columbia Township who are facing that and also some resources available to them. We've been referring a lot of folks to Step Forward, which is a program through MSHDA, which provides assistance to folks who have some income restraints, medical bills and conditions, and make sure that they get some state assistance to get current on their property taxes and most importantly, so they can stay in their homes. So that's just some of the work that we're doing. I encourage you to, if you know anyone who's behind on taxes, who maybe has an unlicensed dog, please refer them to our office and we're happy to help. We constantly refer folks, even back to local units if they don't have a PRE, they're living there. We want to make sure that they're not being overcharged and that they're being treated fairly. So that's all I have.
You got a number, phone number, or where?
Oh, yeah, I can give you a card, but,
Oh, you're gonna, yeah,
yep.
okay.
Okay. Thank you, Trish. Moving forward, Mr. Johnson.
Evening, everyone. For the month of January, we had 12 total calls. 3 were structure fires, 1 assist to Bangor, 2 to South Haven. We had 8 medical assists to Pride Care and 1 animal rescue of a dog that went through the ice, I believe self-rescued.
He was rescued before we got there, yeah.
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
That's just your own guess, you can.
Pierce.
Shubelak, don't worry about it, we're good.
Is here from,
Pierce.
Pierce?
Yep.
he is here to demo the Lucas device, which is an automatic CPR machine that doesn't get tired and does it perfectly until the battery dies, because the battery gets tired.
So yeah, I can walk you guys through exactly what this is. So I am from Stryker, and I've been with Stryker for about 5 years. I worked in the hospitals doing neuro and spine surgeries for the past 4 years, then transitioned over to this division of Stryker, which works with EMS, EMTs, healthcare providers in the emergency care world. So we have a product and it's called Lucas, and one of the biggest struggles that comes with being a more rural area is getting to a call and providing CPR. So for those of you who don't know, CPR can be extremely taxing, and sometimes CPR can be given for 30 to 45 minutes. If, say, 2 people arrived on a call, you have a lot more than just CPR to worry about, depending on what kind of call you're on. And the problem is, if someone's in cardiac arrest, essentially you're giving CPR to provide blood flow to the vital organs, so keeping the brain, perfusing the heart, and if we're going to shock somebody with an AED, that heart needs to be perfused. And if there's pauses in CPR, it's essentially like filling a bucket with a hole in it. So you can keep filling that bucket, but as soon as you stop, that bucket starts emptying out and you have to start back over. And so any pauses during CPR dramatically reduce the ability of the AED to convert that person back into a rhythm so that we can get them back. So this device was created by a company Stryker bought called Physio Control. And what it does is allows people who arrive on scene, caregivers, to put this device on and let it do its job. So the AHA, the American Heart Association, recommends that you give 100 compressions per minute, and that can be plus or minus to 120 at a depth of 2 inches. So if you are out in the middle of the woods trying to perform CPR on somebody, the likelihood that you're getting all of those compressions and the amount of depth that you're looking for is a struggle. And what this device does is it just connects over the patient, and there's no weight limit to this device either. So once this is on the patient, it's ABC 1, 2, 3. So the provider is going to turn on the device. They're going to lower the arm here to the natural position of where you normally place your hands for CPR. Then they're going to move into like a 1, 2, 3. So 1, they're going to lower it. 2, it's going to press it. And then 3, you're going to start the device. And this device will continue to run and perfuse the person's heart so that their vital organs are being filled with blood, and perfect CPR is being given for 45 minutes with 1 battery. Now, the quote that I sent to you guys also has a power device. So if you have somebody who's out in who knows where for 45 minutes and you get them to an ambulance to transport them, all you have to do is plug this in and it runs forever, as long as they need it. And the nice thing about that is it not only saves the backs of people who are doing CPR, because there are a lot of back-related CPR injuries in the fire and EMS world, but it also a big thing. I know there have just been recently a couple of ambulance accidents in this area, and the problem is if somebody's in the back of an ambulance trying to give CPR, that's extremely unsafe because they are not buckled in, and if something happens in the back of an ambulance, that person is in trouble. And so this device allows the paramedic or EMT to sit in their chair fully buckled in, and they leave this on while this gives perfect CPR to the patient. So this device has saved a lot of lives, and it's pretty cool to be able to represent it. So, you guys have any questions for me?
I do.
Yeah.
Do you provide training along with the device?
Yeah, yep.
Is that included?
Yeah, so I personally come in and work with different departments, and we can do like one training. Some departments like me to come in every couple of months, or if they get a couple of newer people on the staff, come in and provide training like that. And so I walk them through. It takes about an hour to do, and then I have some testing and stuff like that we go through at the end just to make sure that everybody understands the use of the device, when not to use the device, so that they can use it effectively and be safe with it.
And does that adjust for larger bodies?
So it doesn't. This mannequin is a little misleading because the arms are actually in here. So it actually goes under here. However, if you're putting this on a larger patient, what you would do is roll them, move fat or adipose tissue or breast tissue to be able to lock the device securely around them. So it fits 95% of patients. 3% are too small, 2% are too big. So if the patient was too big, you would just remove the device and continue with manual CPR. Or the same if they were too small as well, so.
Too small would be like a child or?
Yeah, or just someone with minimum chest height, but the device has features to let you know when the patient would be too small. So if I were going to lower this on somebody and I wasn't sure if they were technically considered an adult or a child, the device will lock and I'm not able to start the device or do anything. At that point, I would remove it and start manual CPR. So that is not inadvertently used on someone.
I have a question for Dave. Who would have it?
Be on our medical truck.
But you guys would have it?
Yeah. Now, white truck that's sitting outside.
Yeah.
I got two questions. Could it be used in conjunction with an AED? And two, does it detect like a rhythm and it'll stop if you bring someone back, or does it just continue to pump away?
So with the AEDs, it can be used with an AED. The only thing you'd have to do is pause when the AED analyzes to see the rhythm. We now have a new AED where you don't have to pause at all, but it will also continue running. So as soon as it analyzes, it'll say, shock advised, please everyone hands off. You would start the machine because it can shock and run while the machine's going with no issues. The other thing is the device will continue to run if the rhythm comes back. And one thing to note with this device, the perfusion is so good that it creates that someone who is technically dead will sometimes open their eyes and appear to be conscious because it perfuses so well. So it will continue to run, so it'd be up to the caregiver to say, this patient may be back, I'm gonna pause it, do a rhythm check, and then go from there.
Zombie!
Yes, it's crazy.
And that's available, like I'm a neighborhood watch commander, and if I had my group and say, okay, at our meeting, we're gonna have a demonstration, I'd probably go through Dave too. But I think it's good for the community to know, because we got a lot of older people around here, they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And, we discussed that, and, I think the more you get it out there, and the more they're familiar with it, the more they'll be at peace with the fact that if something should occur, that's available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've even had from demonstrations of this in township meetings and different people seeing it on the news and things like that. We've actually had like donors in certain communities be like, hey, I want to have that in my community, and they'll sometimes step up and purchase those and do different training programs and stuff like that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
How many devices like this are in Southwest Michigan?
That is a good question, and I have a full map that gives you every county and everyone that's in Michigan. Would you guys like a copy of this?
Yeah.
You'll have room for it, dude.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wouldn't carry it on my back every day. I would. I wouldn't want. That's less work for me.
And the other nice thing about this device is that it's all Wi-Fi connected, so that once someone runs a call, you can actually send information about that call from this to Med Control or to the fire department so that they can review their CPR response times and say, hey, we had pauses here, why did that happen, how we can get better. So it's really a nice tool.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Just a quick moment here. Stacy, she's still running late, so at this time I need to go ahead and make a motion that Karen go ahead and continue doing notes. And I need a second.
I think that Karen could continue doing notes.
Here, take the minutes.
Do I hear a second? You didn't hear it from me. I know.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and continue now, sorry, then. Jason?
Good evening, everyone. For the month of January 2019, I traveled 1,383 patrol miles. There were 280 property inspections completed, 7 assists to the Sheriff's Department, and 1 assist to an adjoining agency. There were 83 total calls for Columbia Township in January, broken down by department, 15 EMS, 60 police, 2 animal control, 4 wrecker, and the rest for fire. The police incidents broken down were 17 general assists, 1 disturbing the peace, 3 suspicious situations, 3 assaults, 1 fraud, 9 traffic crashes, 12 alarms, 2 retail frauds, 2 health and safety, 2 trespass, 3 B&E, 1 delinquent juvenile, 1 larceny, 1 obstructing justice, 1 abandoned hazard, and 1 motorist assist. The B&Es, only 1 of them was legit, and the people were taken into custody and all property was returned.
Wonderful.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? Yes, sir.
Retail fraud,
Yes, sir.
what was the instance on those?
Both instances, of course, involve the Dollar General down here and people going in and just pocketing various items. But they have a very good camera system down there, so everyone is pretty much caught every single time they do that. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Yes, sir.
Yes, I'd like to say thank you because about a year and a half ago, we talked about the speed situation going through Breedsville, and it really has stopped the situation that was predominantly a summer-related migrant worker issue, but for the most part, but I do think that Grand Junction, especially coming from this direction going into Grand Junction, may not be a bad place to sit because...
I have been sitting actually right across the street.
All right. Because I tried to pull out of here today when I came in to find out what time the meeting was, and there 3 guys came through here, and if they weren't doing 55, they were doing 60.
I got you.
And the train was going, so I kind of laughed because I thought, well,
where you going?
Where you going, man? Because that train is going like 9 miles an hour. So, thank you.
Got it. No problem, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Oh, yes.
There was a situation at Family Dollar, just a few days ago, and the lady was confused. Anyhow, I got to witness Jason in action, and I just wanted to say I just respect you, I honor you so much for being so compassionate and...
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And she got home safely. She blocked over by the county line. She made her way all the way here.
Wow.
And she was suffering from dementia, so she didn't really know where she was at. Good. Okay, thank you all so much.
Here, County Commissioners are out here tonight, but I see we have Price here. Did you want to?
So, for all of you that don't know me, I'm Cody. I'm a paramedic field supervisor for Pride Care Ambulance. I've been around here quite a bit, but some of you may not know me. It's been a little while. I've had a little bit of hiatus in here. But we had 6 calls the month of January. Our response times are a little bit longer than normal. We have an average of 19 minutes for a response time, but we had some pretty severe weather this month. And most of the calls, all of our priority 1 calls, we had 3 priority 1 calls. One of them was at 2:25 in the morning, the other one was at 1:41 in the morning, and the other one was almost just before midnight. So they're all at night in the snow, so our response times were a little delayed due to weather and distance. Our station right now is in Bangor City, so we come from Bangor area. We had 3 priority 2 calls, and those were 7 o'clock at night, noon, and 8 o'clock at night, and the average response time for those was 20 minutes and 15 seconds. Our average for our priority ones was 18 minutes and 3 seconds. So, we have, these numbers have finally, I'm field management, so I'm on the road. I've worked in this area for years. Our upper management didn't always listen to us as much. So now that these numbers have really hit them, today, I talked to our CEO, Bill, who you guys have probably seen here in months past. I talked to him today about changing our posting plan. So it sounds like from now on, during the daytime hours and early evening, we are going to stage our ambulance from Bangor City a little bit closer to this area. At night, they're still going to sleep at the station because we can't have them sleeping in an ambulance all night long, but sitting on the side of the road. But we are going to move them for daytime response times to hopefully improve the response times here. And hopefully the weather's not so bad, so we'll have better response times in this area. We're always trying to get more staff. Right now we are short-staffed, but once we do get our staffing back, being a paramedic in the state of Michigan is not always the best thing. A lot of people go straight into nursing, so we don't have a lot of people volunteering for our jobs. Our jobs suck, to be honest with you. We have terrible hours, terrible condition, so there's not a lot of people wanting to do this job, but we are always striving to bring new people in. And once we get our staffing back, we are going to aim to put our car back in Columbia Township, which we did have in the months past. But due to shortages, we had to constrict everything down, and we just don't have the staff to staff all of our stations like we used to. So we are always working to improve that. I can answer any questions you guys have to my best of my abilities. If I can't answer your question, I'll get you an answer. Yeah, for the month of January, our average response time was 19 minutes, but we had some pretty bad weather, and I do have specifics on specific calls if you guys want to know what the delays were. I have individual breakdowns, so.
Have there been any considerations to get the building back with the Crossing Barney's produce and staff there, so it's halfway between them?
I was actually thinking east of Bangor City, like Blinkers area, or 215 and 43. So in that general area, honestly, being right there at 28th and 215 is not much of a difference, but that is where I proposed to put the car today, when I talked to Bill this morning.
Because they used to staff right there, Crossing Barney's produce in that little...
A long time ago.
Yeah.
That was back when...
Hey, couple years ago. We'll just say a couple years ago.
We did staff a car there, but also between then and now, of course, we were staffed at the station on 52nd. Like I said, we always aim to get that car back. I've been pushing, I grew up in this community, many of you know. I was on Columbia Township Fire for just shy of 10 years. So this is my home too. And I've always pushed to have this car back or, move that car, but upper management doesn't always listen to field management. And before I was field management, they just didn't listen at all. But I've always pushed to have the car more this way. I think they've left, this area a little bit dry for what they should. Now I've got numbers to back me, so I've got some leverage to push the car back this way. So we will get an ambulance closer to you guys. And I'm going to be on it multiple times. So I'll make sure that, we do follow that posting plan when I'm on the road. So if any of you guys have questions, I can try to answer them for you. I do propose to you guys, though, that machine he is selling is amazing. Honestly, we have bought one for other QR services in the area. We actually bought one for Hartford Fire. Bangor Fire has one. And as a paramedic that works on the road, I can tell you that thing is amazing because these guys have to switch out every 2 minutes of doing the compressions like he explained to do them properly and not be exhausted. And 6 people, that thing can do the job of 6 people. And we don't have 6 to 8 people to show up to every one of the calls we get around here.
So Pride Care doesn't own one of their own?
We do not. We don't have one because we have so many different ambulances that run in the area. We don't have the finances to buy them.
I wonder if we bought one, if we could convince you to buy one.
So
there would be 2 in the area.
Why don't we just convince them to buy ours?
The problem with that is we run right now we have a 5-car ambulance system. We normally like to run 6. Any of those 6 cars can be in your area at one time. So putting it on a specific ambulance would do you no good after the first call goes out. If that first call is a stub toe, that thing goes on that first stub toe call. The next one you need that, it's not going to be there. So honestly, the best place to keep it, if you want to buy 1 or 2, they have 1 or 2 QR trucks. If you want 2 of them in your area, to be honest, Bangor Fire has one, and they'll have one if you guys buy them one.
And that's why I never let him work the budget when he was.
2, 3, 8.
Just buy as many as you want.
No, what happened to the little ambulance station that used to be there on County Road 215? The building sits there empty now.
They were leasing it, I can speak to that one, because that was the one that I used to run way back in the day when I worked for Paloma.
And what happened?
It was a leased building and it was a piece of junk. You could see outside while you were inside and critters were coming in on the baseline. I'm surprised it's not bulldozed.
That's when ambulances still had stone.
The other thing they were doing was sitting at Scott Lake, and it seemed like that building was better than public access at Scott Lake.
I would,
So the reason we sat at Scott Lake, I was here
I
when that
like you
happened.
being at Scott Lake.
Right, but
My house.
our station was in Bloomingdale at that time. Our station was downtown Bloomingdale, so sitting in Scott Lake was between Bloomingdale, we covered all of Bloomingdale, all of Columbia, all of Bangor. So that ambulance covered all of that. Now, we don't have Bloomingdale or Pine Grove Township anymore, as Life took that over at the first of whichever year. Anyways, so now we cover Columbia and Bangor, so we moved that car to split the difference. And our station is right in Bangor by the Township Hall there, you know, south of town.
Yeah.
So we try to keep our crew at a station. We don't have a station over here anymore. And they only sat at Scott Lake when we were short on cars because somebody was on call. And that's one of the reasons we had a long response time for one of these calls is they were a second ambulance in for the same call. So 2 of these run numbers are actually one call. And it gives you 2 different response times because the other car was coming from Hartford to assist the first one that was on the call. So, but if you have any other questions, I can try to answer. But we try to post as best as we can to keep you guys covered. Like I said, now I have numbers to support my long posted theories, so hopefully it'll improve over the next months.
Thank you.
Yep.
Can I ask one last question?
Absolutely.
Of you, Cody? It looks like you've got your report in your phone.
I do.
Is there something that you can or did print for us?
I can print it at the end if you guys have access to a computer. I honestly am a sub-in for this meeting. Bill couldn't make it today, and he called me this morning while I was at another meeting and said, hey, can you go to Columbia Township tonight? And I was like, okay, can you send me the stuff? So he just emailed it to me.
Right.
I didn't have a chance to print it, but I will print it for you.
Yeah, whether it comes from you or him by email.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can do it if you guys give me access to a computer. Once we're done with the meeting, I can print it off. Yeah, absolutely.
Linda, I'd like, if I could say a couple things. No, we've all been on scenes, Cody involved, or included, and have done CPR multiple times. And whether we rotate out 2 minutes or JC's probably done it, I rode to South Haven from here all the way to South Haven doing CPR the entire way while the medic did his thing. And it is exhausting. A 2-minute switch out is great because you get to catch your breath and recoup a little bit. But when there's 4 people on scene and they're half an hour, it wears you out and you're not as effective as you could be.
You can't get that many people in the back of an ambulance anyway.
Right. Oh. And number 2, I've already sent an email to Pride Care to see if they'll purchase a Lucas Mars.
And one addition I will add as his comment to, there's been a couple ambulance crashes in this area. I was actually one of them less than a month and a half ago. And I was unrestrained in the back seat because I was taking care of a patient, not due to CPR, but it's not fun. It took me about 3 weeks to move my neck again before I could function. So it's a good idea to be restrained in the back of an ambulance. I learned that lesson the hard way.
Thank you. Please.
The only thing I have this evening is another brochure. This brochure lists all of the programs and all of the services of senior services in Van Buren County. And I want everybody to have one so that I know we don't have any seniors here.
You don't win. You do.
But,
2 of them right here.
But you are the people who make seniors aware of the services and the activities. And so if everybody has one of these, especially you guys, because you're running into people all the time that have got problems that are not necessarily fire related.
May I have one more for the other building too?
Sure.
Thank you.
Certainly. And, hi. Yes. When I get towards the back here, I'll get a little stingy. That's all I have.
I think we have our county road commission liaison here. Do you have a word for it?
Oh, we've had, a little tough streak of winter.
Really?
Really. So far this calendar year, as of a week or so ago, the road commission has spent around $750,000 for snow and ice control. We have 3 roads closed in the county because of the rain and melt that we had a couple weeks ago. One is in Columbia, 47.5 between Baseline and 388. I think where they put the new culvert in. I drove down there tonight on the way over and I got through it. It didn't seem bad, but I think it probably just froze, so when it thaws, you might want to.
Did it fail or something?
I think I'm gonna try and find out Thursday night, but they probably backfilled with the wrong material and it didn't pack in and, it's soft and mushy. No, the culvert didn't fail. The new culvert did not fail, no. I think it's the backfill around it.
If they used the wrong material, that won't cost us to fix it.
I wouldn't think so, and it may just take, a little time, and it would repair itself. They're gonna start pothole patching with the thaw and some bare roads. We were gaining potholes again. They're working on tree removal when they're not doing snow. And when we had the tough weather, I know there were guys that worked 24 days straight. So they put a lot of time and hours into there for 3 or 4 days. It was like a losing battle, but they did, when it finally let up a little, they got the roads cleaned up pretty good shape. Your Paiser ratings are done. I don't know if you've received yours. Okay, good. And just be aware that any day, possibly this weekend, I don't know, with the warmer weather, frost laws will be coming on. You kind of forget about them when it's this cold, but all of a sudden when the weather changes, here they are. And so if anyone has anything they need to get moved, you might want to get her done soon. If you got any concerns for the road commission, I'll be happy to take them back with me.
I'd just like to say, I think you guys are doing a heck of a job this winter. I travel the roads and a lot of roads for me. I'm listening to the reports coming from the stations and we ain't got that, what I'm saying? Our roads are
I think the snow plowing has improved in the last couple of years over previous to that. Last year was better than previously, and I think this winter is.
I think the green lights really is
even better.
Yes.
The green lights
they
really
do
I
show
forget
up.
about the green light.
You can see them very well. Yeah, I like them too.
The snow plowing, has been well, but boy, oh boy, 388.
Well, there are a couple.
I don't know how much longer that road can go.
I know, it goes right through.
Really?
Bloomingdale
I don't know
too,
how
and
much longer that road can go. You've got to go back over there and tell them. It's been so neglected that you got to maybe put it to gravel, something. It's getting so bad and dangerous.
I know west coming out of Bloomingdale, that first mile or so, couple miles, it's terrible.
Everybody, man, if you can, call over there, call. I mean, that road is, I can't remember the last time they did anything to that road. I see everywhere else, the roads are, the county,
We've got a lot of that.
working on them.
Yeah.
I get out there and run them and travel them. And ain't none of them as bad as this.
I'll take it back.
I mean, just because our population over here, hasn't it been what it is over there, but it is now, and that's their thing, the population and the traffic growing on this road. Do they ever put counters out anymore?
They haven't in a few years, but I know that we're planning to this summer.
Can we get on the list
To get traffic
to get
count.
this one done?
Sure, yep, I'll bring that up.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yep. With that, I'm gonna take off, so if you got anything, feel free to give me a call anytime.
Watch the roads.
All right.
Thank you. Moving forward, everybody else up on the manager's report. We only had one complaint this month, which is very good. Planning on going to a few conferences this month, so it's to the end. Our committee for our events, just had their last event, there's 6 of them, that went really well, and had a nice turnout. Thank you, Rhonda and Teresa, for working on that and getting it going. And, that's all I have. Thank you.
Well, I wasn't able to print out anything, I was waiting for my laptop to do updates, hoping to get some paperwork done for tonight, but it was still updating, so I just left it, and my clerk's report was on there. Off the top of my head, we did budget meetings, for the most part, and just usual stuff, payroll, and filing notices. Gosh, I can't remember what's all on my notes now, but I think for the most part that covers it.
Okay, thank you. Karen, treasurer's report.
Okay, we're still in tax season. We're pretty soon gonna end. So I'll be in the office 9 to 5 on Thursday, February 28th, since that's the final day of tax collection. But please pay prior to that if you haven't yet. As they've mentioned here, we've been working on budget workshops, and we did meet with Pride Care on January 21st. That was since we last met out here. That was a very valuable discussion, I felt. So appreciate that from the guys there. We've got a couple more budget workshops to go. If anybody's interested in the current cash balances and a list of payables, that should be on the back table. And it wasn't really township business, but something that might impact some people here. One of our tech savvy guys on Saddle Lake had approached Bloomingdale Telephone regarding their fiber optics. You know, they're advertising that, and they wondered when or if they'll get over this way. And it does turn out that there's some grant money available for certain circumstances, which might include, I think they identified 3 lakes in our area that are considered underserved but have enough population density that are attractive to them. So in the process, as long as they're running a loop, they're going to be looking for other opportunities too. So it's really premature right now. But he did say, the gentleman from Bloomingdale Telephone would like to speak here either at the March or April meeting. He'll know more as far as his grant situation. So it's hopeful that maybe something will be coming out this way.
Thank you. John, neighborhood watch and cemetery.
Well, you heard what he said on how many checks he has. Now, that's fantastic. And we work together on that. If people are not home and we are available, we'll make the driveway marks. We'll make it look like there's a car there, or make it look like the car's been going there. But he goes up and he goes ahead and actually checks the house. And that's important because look at our statistics for this coming winter. The break-ins that have occurred, a lot of them are unfounded. You know, if a guy leaves a door open or a window open or something, well, maybe somebody's going to crawl in and go through the door. But the people that belong to the neighborhood watch understand what to do and how to do it. Now, we'll be starting up our season. Now, what we're going to do this year, however, because the weather was the way it was and the climate is the way it is, our first meeting is usually in March, and we're going to digress to April because a lot of our group's not here yet. And it would just be a situation where I think it would be just as well to wait till the April meeting. So our first meeting will be in April.
Thank you. Beverly?
I don't have a planning commission report because our meeting was canceled due to weather.
Thank you. Has everybody had a chance to look at the consent agenda items, minutes and expenditures.
Well, I was hoping to bring you guys
Yeah.
minutes, but I don't have to work out, yeah. I don't know when we meet again, approve them then, or next month.
That would be good since we have a budget meeting.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
So we'll hold up on the minutes, we'll pull that out of our consent expenditures, do we want to go ahead and approve those?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve the expenditures.
Have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor, Beverly?
Yes.
John?
Yeah.
Karen?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Linda, yes.
Is that gonna be what we're doing?
This time we'll take a quick 3-minute, public comment. Anybody have any public comments on anything that we've discussed so far? Okay, we're gonna move forward. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, forgive me, is that on what you talked about, or may I comment on?
On anything that's happened.
I love your family's ideas. Something that popped into my head is, I would be up for, purchasing a picnic table in my parents' names. And that is maybe an idea of how to proceed with that.
Good idea. Great idea.
Wonderful.
But thank you for your family also doing that.
Anybody else have a quick comment?
But I don't have a comment about what you said earlier.
So then you'll have to wait till the next one.
Okay, that's fine.
We're gonna move forward.
Do we, just to clarify, do we have any announcements, correspondence, or general discussion?
No.
Okay, nobody has it.
Unfinished business. We had a resolution, property extension guidelines that we tabled last month. We have those ready.
No.
We're gonna table.
So
So we need a
got the
motion.
numbers today, and then I sent them to him.
So let's take a motion to table this. So next month.
Where do you have your table?
I'll make a motion. Table.
All in favor of Beverly?
Yeah.
John?
Yeah.
Karen?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Looks like we need to re-look at, consideration for opting out of our recreational marijuana. Stacy, do you have anything you wanna?
Well, it needed to go into the paper was all, and it didn't get into, the notice didn't get into the paper, the ordinance needs to be summarized, so, just basically a reapproval of the exact same thing that we approved.
Of what we
before.
approved,
And
yeah.
then I'll tell Catherine tonight to, prepare a summary to go into the paper.
Okay, so do we have a motion to accept this?
I'll make a motion to, re-accept the resolution for opting out on the medical marijuana business establishment,
I'll second.
so that we can summarize it for the paper.
All in favor of Beverly?
As previously written?
As previously.
Yes.
John?
Yeah.
Karen?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes. Yes.
MTA conference, April 1st through the 4th. I know there's a few of us that like to go.
Yeah.
Do we want to approve to, for up to 2 days for whoever wants to go?
I wanna go Wednesday.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Yeah, 2 is probably pretty.
Yeah.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, Beverly?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Linda, yes. Motion approved. We go into new business. We have a board of review application. You guys should have a copy of that.
Yeah.
And it's for Mr. Gary Gruss. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Gruss? He's in the back of the room.
He writes like I do, but I can read it.
I can read it. You're used to it.
No, it looks good.
Beverly?
I just have a general couple of general questions. Would Gary be able to make it to the training in time? Because this is about taxes. And then the other thing is it a conflict at all? I think Gary's brilliant. I trust Gary, but because of you being the treasurer and the way people can be in this township, that came to my mind. That's the only thing that's the only reservation that I would have. Not that I feel like it is a conflict, but our thing here is like if it could possibly ever appear as a conflict and somehow it turns into a conflict. Oh.
Okay, who makes the
my only
ruling
concern
then?
with that.
Well, one of us could step down.
Yeah, I can see you hanging over here then. Yeah, okay, that'll work.
Thank you, do you have any?
No, I'm glad you asked, but do you want this permanent or just a alternate?
It could be a 2-year term.
Okay.
It's been open for a year, correct, and
Yeah.
nobody has applied for it?
Yeah.
And he would be available for the MTA training that's this Thursday, which is kind of what prompted him. We've been looking at how long it's been open, and it's like, he's willing.
Would they be able to get in this quick? So again, I would let it be said loudly in public, it's been a year, no one else has applied.
Right.
Someone's gotta do it.
So, is the board all good with Gary's application here, and nobody has any questions for him? Do I have a motion to accept his
Well, I make a
application?
motion, we accept Jerry.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, Beverly?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
I would say actually.
Oh, you think I shouldn't?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I say,
Just
I'm not voting.
Stacy?
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations, Gary. Meet with us after the meeting.
Thank you.
Next item is the purchase of the Lucas machine. In cars. EMS person over there is getting all excited here. Does anybody have any questions? And Dave,
I missed out on that. So it's not $185,000.
It is not $185,000, we don't want 12, I apologize. I have some hyperactivity issues and my zero finger gets twitchy,
Really?
so, yeah.
That's coffee, Dave.
I don't even drink
Also
coffee.
causes spelling errors.
Yes.
No, he just doesn't know how to spell.
Please pass that on
Yeah.
to
I will.
Mr. Stickles.
Yeah, I apologize.
so, what was the total cost on that?
14,765.60. That was from
And where
memory
is
too.
this coming out?
Fire budget.
Ambulance? Did you say that?
There's only 1,789.17 in the ambulance.
No.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Do we have
What
any
line
line on
item?
budget?
Is it gonna go in the ambulance or is it gonna
No.
go, where's it gonna go?
It's going on medical rig.
It's really part of the
Fire.
fire department.
Okay.
Fire rescue, yeah.
So, yeah, at first I'm like, what do you mean? And then it's, okay, I know.
Well, and I've already sent the email off to Pride
To try to pay for
to
it.
try to get them, if you approve it tonight and we order it, to try to get them to reimburse us.
Or maybe even a split.
No, we're going with the reimburse.
Cody heard that.
You heard nothing.
I told you we bought one for somebody else, so I don't know what you're talking about.
There is a precedent.
Southhaven have one?
Southhaven has one, but they bought their own.
Well, right, but.
I had $2.5 million.
I think
Bangor also has one.
back there. Once you get fired.
$14,000 isn't a lot of money when you're talking about somebody's life.
No, I'm not
Or
saying,
live.
you know.
See, Jane?
And I don't.
And the thing about our fire,
My back.
the
My
back,
knees.
'cause that-
Don't, I was gonna say, don't fully speak to, I guess,
And what
like
kind of
JP
maintenance
pointed out.
does it come with? Like, you know, is there like annual maintenance that needs to be done on these things or, batteries that you gotta, repurchase after?
Over a certain amount of time, I assume, I don't know how many years it would be.
I I can ask all that up here if you would like.
We had the representative here.
Yeah, he is, I think he left now.
Yeah.
But, and like I said, I don't fully know how much of the percentage Hartford we bought. I wanna say we bought all of it, but we may have bought just part of it. I don't do.
We heard you say.
You can tell them I said that, they might yell at me later, but that's all right.
Why, you don't wind up buying a
Simply
Porsche.
because I don't like spending money on the budget,
We can
we're gonna
buy
have to all.
Porsches.
Well, and that's what we would need to do tonight, if we would have to vote for whether or not it's coming out of this budget, and then if we don't have to, great, but.
Right.
That sounds right, anyway.
14,765.
Yeah.
I think that's quiet.
What we're reviewing.
So, which you probably have to purchase on your own later on.
Okay. Okay.
So, did we get in, is there any grants we can get for that, if maybe we don't get any reimbursement?
We would have to get the grant first, I believe. We can't get, I don't believe there's any reimbursement grants that we can get. You'd have to get the grant, then purchase the equipment.
So, at this point, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we purchase the Lucas machine for the fire department not to exceed $15,000.
Oh, so you took a zero off.
I know.
Meet in the middle there.
Is that purchase tax or anything like that?
I would second that.
Thank you.
All in favor, Beverly?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Linda, yes. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
But Cody, it doesn't let you off.
Hey, it's recorded line up there.
And we're gonna take this out of the fire budget?
If you have to. And I will email Pierce and get all the warranty issues, or warranty information, any, maintenance, upkeep, and ongoing training schedules that we could get.
Did it have a service agreement as part of this, do you remember?
It did not. It was for the Lucas, the battery, and the power supply.
Okay. Any public comments at this time?
Thank you.
About anything?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to just point out that I do go to, I live here in Columbia. My name is Mike Abdul.
Do you wanna come up to the mic, that way it gets, recorded better, please?
Yeah.
I don't know, usually stand that up, just sit down. Oh, yeah, have the suit.
I can talk loud.
We got a short lady here.
I can talk loud enough. I am involved in the medical marijuana business in several areas here in southwestern Michigan, and I am a resident of Columbia Township. And I've sit and listened to complaints by Stacy about the roads and trying to figure out where we're going to pay for life-saving equipment. And I do understand and I do appreciate the fact that you did allow a small number of Class A licenses. And what I'd like to do is find out if you would explore the opportunity under the medical marijuana, not the recreational, to expand in a small number. I'm looking at a piece of property at 17,038-215, and it's a really nice piece of property that has a lot of potential. And if we were to increase the fees like they did in Arlington Township to a $5,000 per license application, some of these concerns and some of these expenses, and I can remember back in July wondering how we were going to seed a baseball field that never existed because the guy who was going to donate the fence, nobody knew how we were going to do this. And I think the pure economic impact of not only the license fees from the operators, but the percentage of the pie from what could be in excess of $2 billion within 24 months is really got to have some impact on boards who have had enough insight to opt into the medical. Not to say that you need to agree with the recreational, but the medical program is very important in the next 2 years. So I, talked with, there's a lady who's a local attorney here that has one of the Class A licenses. I was here dealing with my taxes the other day with Rhonda, and we had a really enlightening conversation, but I would like to possibly ask that we put this on some sort of agenda in the next month or two to explore expanding maybe just a half a dozen Class C licenses, because the Class A's are pretty ineffective, and they don't generate enough income for us to make endowments like we did to the Apple Festival and the Parks and Recreation in Bangor, where they're getting 0.5% of our gross sales, and it's gonna turn out to be in excess of $40,000 to $80,000 a year per organization. So the stigmatism of this is not a gateway drug, this is not gonna affect the community, but there are some vacant properties in this township that could use the development, and I know that the township could use the money. And I just wanted to say that I would hope that in the coming months we could maybe open up a discussion about expanding the medical marijuana window a little bit to allow a few more growers to come into this area. We don't want to do a dispensary. We don't need to process anything. But there is vacant land sitting out there that, even the tax, like if we put a grow facility in, we'll spend $1.5 million on a building that'll generate a net tax revenue to help pay for some of these issues that we have because we're so limited on what monies we get from the state and from, tax revenue. So I appreciate your time, and hope anybody has any questions, I'll take the questions.
Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else have a public comment at this time?
Is the board allowed to come in?
I got a board
I just
comment.
wanted to clarify about to the public here, that the $5,000 is the initial fee. We are not allowed to spend that money. That money can only be used directly to administer anything to do with the medical marijuana licensing. It's not like we get that $5,000 and we're allowed to just go spend it. We have fees that we've taken in, and right now we can't lawfully spend it.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Brenda, hold on.
Go ahead.
I'm from the village of Breezeville. I'm the president of Breezeville. We had just gotten from our attorney the information. Mainly what you can use your permit fees for are for the roads, to better your parks, and for whatever you need to maintain the roads and all the other stuff that you can. And it's also for the clerk, for when she has to do the paperwork. She can get part of that fees because of her hours of dealing with the paperwork. It's permissible.
Also attorney fees.
And the attorney fees.
So it's a win-win situation with the township.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, board comments, Beverly?
No, I just made mine.
John?
Yeah, I got a couple. Senior Services want to set up a second luncheon in the township. Would you check to see if the board would approve using the hall for this? Also, who would be responsible for overseeing the luncheon? And I thought about the events committee. It would possibly be on a Monday. Now, this is a letter that has come from Kathy Curtis. And she also says, what happened the last time. We had a luncheon here, and it didn't turn out well. And she says, she's pretty sure the township would not be able to fund anything. I don't know if volunteers are paid via senior services. I do not know if the Congregational Church would want to host another luncheon there, but getting volunteers to commit may be a biggest hurdle. So these are things I think we should think about, but at the same time, the people I get the feedback on from is, bring a dish to pass. That's what I get from the people that were formerly at the senior meeting. And then it went the other way because senior services said, no, you gotta have it done in this kind of a kitchen and so forth and so on if you wanna get approval. But we didn't have it before. And that's what a lot of people are coming back at me with. why can't we bring it this to pass like we did before? So we wanna think about that. I don't know just exactly what the ramifications are on
Because
that.
senior citizens had to bring the food in.
Yeah.
That was the issue with health and
Yeah,
safety
yeah.
concerns, with food handling issues, so.
Right,
That's why, yeah.
yeah.
Senior services had to prepare it and bring it in, and so they weren't allowed to.
So they wanna know if we
bring
can
it
go
in
around it.
fast.
That's what they're asking.
We couldn't before, so I don't know why you'd be able to now.
I don't know.
John, maybe that's something you might wanna do at your neighborhood watch meeting.
Well, I can, yeah, I can. Then the other thing I wanna bring up is Eric Nesbitt. He is, we have tentatively have a date for him to come to Columbia Township, I think it was the 26th of March. And his whole purpose of coming is there's a lot of new things happening in Lansing. He's got a new girlfriend there now that's a governor, and,
Careful, the wife's sitting right here.
yeah, right. Yeah. But what I would especially want to take his attention to, and you can just mention this to him, the blueberry growers are gonna have a tough year. And there is pending legislation in our legislature to help them out. And I don't know what it is. So I would, Bob, he's here and I'm between the other two. So, we are really surrounded with blueberries and we know that it's been a rough winter for them. But you might want to mention to him, if he can come up with any information at our meeting that would help the blueberry growers. And that you can look into that. So, yeah, there's a lot of changes going on in not a lot of changes, but a lot of trying going on in Michigan now. And I'm a vet, and we're watching that real close. You got and I'll just end it at that. You've got a Muslim that's causing all kinds of problems, and they don't swear to the same God, and the veterans are not going to put up with it. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you, John. Karen?
St. Patrick's Day.
Right?
Yeah.
You won't be so lessons, let's have St. Patrick's Day.
You're wearing green tonight.
Yeah, there you go, right? I just thank everybody for coming out and sharing all your information, and look forward to seeing you next month. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I shall move.
Need a second? Second. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Very good.
Hopefully Tom likes that program.
I know, right? I need it.
Here's my credit if you ever need anything.
Appreciate that. She said to me too, I don't know if you saw me.
Thank you, dear.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, she went to when I found you survived, good job.
Yeah, but you still do your day around in the public safety department. Are you gonna email her or So I thought, here, you
When the fire department has their event, I guess they do have that building, and I thought we really needed. Maybe a
Oh, yeah, these days, But, you know, there's a thing we can't done it. Fresh in this area. It's funny, we're out in the country, not everyone has a garden. There's not a lot of access to fresh I would love that, but
We have a guy that works for a
yeah, I had thought it was nice, you know.